I should probably make another video for this segment, but I'm going to go ahead and fly through it. I can always go back later in another video and get in more detail. But take a look at this video here. February 23rd, 2021, Tom Nash comes in and tells you why you should buy Tesla. Load up on Tesla. Because Cathie Wood, the investment genius, just bought 5 million shares. Cathie Wood's a moron. She's a con artist, a moron. Her analysts are unqualified kids. I already did a video on that. I've got more experience, knowledge, and insight in innovation than Cathie Wood, all of her analysts, times at least 1,000. But Tom Nash is pumping Cathie Wood like all these guys. Kevin, all these idiots on YouTube pumping just about everything she says, all her trash. They're all fakes and frauds, folks. Unfortunately, the vast majority of people on YouTube have dildos for brains, and they're just too stupid to realize that. Tom Nash basically goes to and tells you, Cathie Wood's buying 5 million shares. You should buy. Oh, it's great. And then he focuses on this guy, Brent Thiel. I think he's a Jefferies analyst. Jefferies is like a tiny, insignificant shop, by the way. TipRanks is a scam, like just about everything coming out of Israel. Seeking Alpha out of Israel, scam. Benzinga, funded by Israel, scam. And so he says, well, listen, by the way, he's 7th out of almost 400 analysts, and he's put a $40 price target on Palantir. Listen to what he has to say. This is kind of funny.
So first of all, this is Brent Thiel. He's ranked 12 in the country out of 7,300 analysts, and he has Palantir at $40, like myself, with a 38% upside. And he was right quite often. I mean, he made 70% of the stock, much like myself. I mean, he made 70% upside, and he was right quite often. I mean, he made 70% of the stock, much like myself.
You notice he throws in these little things, much like myself. He's trying to compare himself to this analyst. Tom, you're not an analyst. You were never a Wall Street analyst. $10,000 I'm going to give you in cash. Folks, why won't Tom Nash confront that? Why? Think about that. I'm not screwing around. I'm serious. You're listening to a man, folks. I've backed my track record with a $1 million challenge. Nobody's ever done that in the world. I don't fuck around. Okay? I back my shit with money. Because when you do that, it's a serious thing. You don't have a lot of shit talkers. Okay? But Tom doesn't even have to wager me. This is a gift, an award, if he can prove to me his claims. Senior analyst on Wall Street. I'm not so sure Tom was ever any type of analyst. He claims he was a corporate analyst. He changed the tune several times. Asset management firm, investment bank, this, that. No, I'm not sure he was in fact, I think that Tom probably got an undergrad degree, and that's about it. And I don't think he cut it as a kind of a small junior trainee analyst at a financial or a corporation. That's what I believe. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think based upon assessing his background, the inconsistencies, the lies, and my God, the guy is incompetent. I can't imagine how he would have. An MBA is a very overrated kind of a garbage degree, but what it does do is it certainly caps off an undergrad degree in business. Undergrad degree in business is pretty useless, and you can come out of there not really knowing jack about anything. So given the fact that Tom seems to be pretty incompetent, I'd be surprised if he has an MBA. But one thing is for sure, he's clueless, and he's lying about his past. But the point is that he's constantly trying to make himself seem credible. Oh, much like myself. Yeah, okay. And he's saying, well, look, he's 7th out of 4,000 analysts. Okay.
So Brent Thiel is from Jefferies, and he's one of the best analysts in the country, according to numbers. TipRanks is saying that.
TipRanks is a scam. Okay, I've mentioned this before. TipRanks is bullshit. It's not a legitimate site. Okay, it's not MSCI. It's not Standard & Poor's. It's garbage. Okay, it's trash is what it is. You got to understand, this is a site that they also rank what people say on Seeking Alpha, what bloggers say. I mean, what is that? It's nonsense. The other point I wanted to mention is that you have to understand, and I know Wall Street analysts very well. You can have a Wall Street analyst that, assuming you have a legitimate rating system, which you could argue is nearly impossible to create one. I would say it's impossible to actually create one given the structuring of how the Wall Street analysts are. But let's assume that you could create one. I can tell you from my experience, I have never found an analyst who is consistently good. Analysts have some good calls one year, and then they have bad calls the next year or the following 2 years. So that's the way it works. So it's a matter of timing. In other words, you can pick an analyst that's maybe doing well now, and the following year they suck. So that's very important to keep in mind. Does Tom know that? Of course he does. And this is a clown who thinks tip ranks is legitimate. And of course he wants to pump them because he's an affiliate. He's pumping them, right? He doesn't mention that he's making money from them. But and why do you think he's done some videos for them? You know why? Because Tip Ranks is headquartered in Israel, in Tel Aviv. Where do you think Mr. Nash lives? He's in Israel, folks. That's right.
He thinks the company can be $40. Kathy Wood thinks that the company can be much bigger than it is right now. But why? What are we seeing that a lot of these short sellers are not seeing? Well, let me explain.
Okay, so Tom is seeing something that the short sellers aren't seeing. Is it short sellers? I mean, is that really it? You know, maybe it's share dumping. See, Tom didn't want to go over this. Take a look, folks. Alex Karp, the con artist who's unqualified to run that company, and he's Thiel's buddy. You know, I don't know what their relationship is, but maybe they're lovers, right? Probably. Alex Karp, CEO, dumped $600 million of Palantir in 2021. That's right. That's what we're talking about, folks. That's the share dump. That's why people the street didn't want the stock. Take a look. Take a look. I went over this in another video, as well as many other of Kathy Wood stocks that Insider's been dumping. You can take a look at that video. Here's a Karp. Just do the math. 50, 45, 40. Just call 50, 50, 50, 50. That's 270, 50. Right, 250, 350, 70. More than 500 million. 550, let's say. Call it 550. And Peter Thiel. Take a look. Peter Thiel. 5 days before Nash comes out with a video, Peter Thiel dumps $500 million. Maybe that's why the stock was going down. I mean, really. And I mentioned in the other video on ARK, when I was talking about it, that insider transactions don't matter that much. There's certain situations, and this is one of those situations when you have an exaggerated dumping early on. Let's go back to Brent Thiel, the analyst, how Tom Nash is pumping him. Oh, he's a great analyst. His success rate's 81%. Average return past 12 months, 33%, 33.4%. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's average return per rating. So that's a little bit nebulous there. It doesn't describe the holding period. Anyway, well, let's take a look. And this is, back February 23rd. Let's take a look and see. It's just about a year later. February 27, 2022. Let's take a look and see how Mr. Thiel has done. That's Brent Thiel, of course. And there you have it. Success rate almost cut in half, 44%. Not 7 out of 375, 164. And average returns 8%. So he's collapsed. So why hasn't Mr. Nash updated you fellows, you ladies, on the situation? Because this is one of his selling points, right? Now, he can't avoid talking about Kathy Wood dumping her Palantir because that was all over the press. You see what I'm saying, folks? Tom Nash is very dangerous. Not only is he incompetent, he's a clown, he's dangerous for your livelihood, for your investment future. He's a clown. We're going to close now with a video that Tom has since removed or hidden on his channel. It's a video I talked about before, and I did a video on it. This is my video, actually, that I commented on. Tom was kind of ticked off that some channel, I think it was Endless Money, was trashing him, or I don't know, criticizing him, and just, I haven't seen the video, but obviously upset him, and he didn't want to mention the channel. I think somebody else mentioned it somewhere else. That's why I know. I think I know. And so Tom starts, oh, they're an infomercial and this, and all they do is talk about PE ratios, and nobody who talks about PE ratios knows what's going on. They're clueless. And he said, ask somebody on Wall Street. You can go ahead and listen to this right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So in this next video here, apparently Mr. Nash is a little bit upset that somebody was calling him out and making fun of him. And so he's responding to this channel, I'm not quite sure what it is, by saying, oh, well, they're just trying to sell a software program. By the way, folks, if you want Tom to be pressured to respond to me, all you got to do is subscribe and pass my videos around. See, the more subscriptions, the more views I get, he's going to feel pressured, you see. What's he going to say? I'm trying to sell something? I've intentionally made sure not to promote myself, what I do, specifically to show you guys that I'm doing this for the right reason, okay? So you can't say I'm trying to sell anything, you see? And even if I were, I'd be the only credible person on YouTube doing it in the financial industry. I'm a top pro.
What I want you to do after this video is that if you watch their infomercials on YouTube, which is just an infomercial for the product, you notice that they talk all the goddamn time about PE ratio this, and PE ratio that. Now, all I want you to do after this video, don't trust my word for it, don't trust their word for it, go through their videos and see how many times.
Hey, Tom, don't take their word for it, don't take your word for it. Folks, I've mentioned this a while back in some other videos. It's another reason why I know Tom was never a Wall Street analyst. You have to be a good communicator. Tom has kind of shaky English. It's not good enough. You see, because analysts are salesmen, and you communicate with institutions, big-time investors. They're not going to take anything this guy has to say seriously just because it's English. Not to mention his analysis is a joke. But we'll be getting into that in the future.
The point of this video is that if you watch their infomercials on YouTube, which is just an infomercial for the product, you notice that they talk all the goddamn time about PE ratio this, and PE ratio that. Now, all I want you to do after this video, don't trust my word for it, don't trust their word for it, go through their videos and see how many times they talk about PE ratio as an investment decision mechanism and how it's important in investing, in value investing, in PE and PE and PE. PE.
So he's saying that PE ratio is not important in value investing. Okay.
Go and find somebody who's ever worked in the financial industry.
Me, on my third decade.
An analyst, somebody who worked on the trading floor. Anybody with actual trading or investing experience.
Yeah. Advised multi-billion-dollar funds. Worked in venture capital. Worked in merchant banking.
Anybody from Wall Street that you can get a hold of.
That's me. Hello.
And ask them, how do you know that somebody's a clown, a buffoon, and is a fake?
I'm looking at one right now. The telltale signs are obvious. Tom Nash, you're a clown, you're a fool, you're a fake.
If they mention PE, this is exactly what it is. If somebody mentions to you PE, that means they've never worked a day in their life on Wall Street or in any sort of investment capacity, because nobody is using PEs in the industry, literally nobody. And if you hear somebody talk about PEs, that's like an immediate kind of giveaway. You know that they're just, bullshitting. They're not from the industry.
This guy is disinformation. I can assure you right now, every single Wall Street firm, when they go over, talk about earnings, they end up talking about PE ratio. It's a very important metric. Is it the only important metric? No. Should it be used in isolation? Probably not. But one thing is for sure, it's very important. And the second thing is that it's very important even as a single metric if you're a value investor. It's very important. There's other measures as well. Tom Nash doesn't know what he's talking about. He's never worked on Wall Street and or in the investment side. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I have. I'm a research provider, research analyst, investment strategist. Okay, once again, I've advised big-time funds. Tom Nash has not. Tom Nash is a fake, he's an idiot, and he's a fraud.
terms of getting back as an investor, if it's coming down to here, almost irrespective of what's going on, I have to believe. If I have to make a call in advance, and of course I can change depending on what happens, but I have to believe this is where you want to start doing that 18, 17, around there. Their earnings report is a complete game changer, at least for quite a while. Bottom line, NVIDIA now is going to enter the realm of Tesla, Apple, and all these other big, I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works. I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works.